Hello, welcome to Family. We've got your back. This week is kind of a busy one. I'm having surgery and Trent is playing basketball in another city with his brothers and friends and whew. Anyway, so this week we're kind of talking about something that my daughter said, why you gotta aim it at me this week? And I'm like, I wasn't.
No.
So I was thinking about how sometimes we're dissatisfied in our relationships and we substitute things for human interaction because we aren't getting what we want or expect from our relationships. And the things that we substitute, instead of just, I don't want to say trying harder, but making an effort to enrich our relationships, the things that we substitute can really actually cause a lot of damage.
Yeah. Most of it, I think, that's...
Devices
are tricky because you have to be so mindful about how you're using them and why you're using them, because they are an endless pit.
They can be.
They can be.
Ginormous time wasters, emotion suckers, just addictive things that bring us nothing good.
Right.
So that's one thing that we use, and what we do on them, can really... They're tools, and if we misuse them, they can really, really hurt our relationships. But we're not really talking about technology this week. We're talking about relationship substitutes.
Yeah.
And so we've got to be careful if we are rationalizing our use of other things because we're unhappy instead of actually working on our relationships.
Yeah.
It really is, those things are harmful. And the thing that came to my mind first, because I'm a reader, is books. It's like you can delve into this fantasy world where you get a satisfactory relationship. And so then you are trying to fill that hole with a book boyfriend, is what it's commonly termed. Or not even a book boyfriend, if it could be just that emotional hit, that dopamine hit that you get when you read a satisfying.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, and it starts to shape what you perceive should be the way life is. It's like, how come? When's my happy ending going to occur?
Or how come my spouse / girlfriend, boyfriend doesn't do that? That's what a good boyfriend, girlfriend does. That's what a good spouse does, right?
Right.
It's like, how come you can't be more like this person? Why can't you be Mr. Darcy? I don't want you to be Mr. Darcy.
I don't want to be Mr.
awful.
Darcy.
Anyway. He can be really awful. Anyway.
He can be. He is proud. Sorry.
We're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
And slightly prejudiced.
There it is.
Sorry.
Anyway, so, even classics, if you're reading relationship fiction so that you can deal with your life, then maybe you should think about living your life more instead of reading it, right?
And we're not saying that
reading is bad.
We're not.
No.
But we're saying anything that starts to impact your relationships in a light that is not fair.
Right. So, as I was telling the kids at dinner, Trent and Adam and JD weren't home yet. And so it was just the 3 adult children, and we were at dinner together. And they said, "What are you going to do your podcast on?" And I told them that it was, this relationship substitutes. And Bennett burst into song.
That's not what he does.
No.
He doesn't.
Ever. And I laughed so hard and thought this was so fabulous. And then I learned it wasn't him making up a song at dinner, right? I was so excited. it was a vine that has turned into a comedy routine that this guy does. His name is Bo something Burnham. Anyway, and I listened to the song and I was like, stop, profanity, right? But the line that Bennett sang was, if you want to find love, or something like that, if you want to be in love, you got to lower your expectations. Prince Charming wouldn't settle for you anyway. Oh my word. It was hilarious to have my, emotionally solid son just burst into song. It was fabulous.
You have no idea how weird that would be. I wish I was home for that.
You would have loved it. Oh, it was awesome. But anyway, so I'm not quoting it exactly, but it's basically, life is not a fairy tale.
No.
It will never be a fairy tale. And
it really is in your best interest to lower your expectations. Have you seen my head?
Sorry, I'm deafening you, listeners. Anyway, life does not ever end up happily ever after in the way that you hope. I'm thinking of Snow White with the butterflies and birds flying as he's carrying her off into the sunset with the dwarfs, or is it dwarf? Yeah, it's the 7 dwarves.
Yes.
And they're singing and hopping around, and that just doesn't happen. You have moments of joy that you hang on to that get you through the hard things. The queen, the wicked queen, right? She was destroyed in the end, and then they live happily ever after. That doesn't happen. Okay? I mean, yes, you can live happily ever after, but it's not like constant, right? There's moments of joy amidst the difficulty.
And if you're spending too much time with whatever the fantasy is,
wishing for this happily ever after,
then you will never
with no troubles.
You'll never find peace and happiness in that situation.
No, you'll never be satisfied or content with real relationships, because that's just not what they are.
And then you'll find yourself falling into a trap where that's what you consume more of.
Yeah.
Making you more and more discontent.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so insidious.
Yeah.
That something so harmless as just a fun read can really make you bitter and unhappy and dissatisfied with your life. Mm-hmm. Right? So
and the happiness from marriage comes from facing a struggle together and overcoming it.
Yes, and growing together. Yeah. Climbing the mountain. Enjoy the journey together as you're climbing over that mountain, right? And that's what we've learned is...
Yeah.
And we say it all the time. It doesn't matter what we do on our date night. We're together and we're enjoying each other's company. We're choosing to enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
No matter what we're doing. Guess what we did last week? Grocery shopping.
We did something else.
We went to the pumpkin patch and picked our pumpkins. Well, but that was with the kids. So the date part was just running errands because we were going to do something fun, but it was so crowded. I was like, I can't be here. It's like, right? It was so oppressively crowded that I just could not. We couldn't do it. I was like, nope, I'm not one for the irritation and the stress of being pressed together with other people because it's so crowded. So anyway, so our definition this week is realistic. Set realistic expectations. Be realistic in your desires and your thoughts and your emotions, right? So the definition is able to see things as they really are and to deal with them in a practical way, right?
Practical.
Okay. And another one is based on what is real rather than on what is wanted or hoped for. Not impractical or visionary, right? So you have this vision in your head of what you want your life to be, and it's just not going to be that way if you're not realistic in at least some way. Yeah, your hopes and dreams, yeah, go for it and let it reach for the sky and work for those wonderful, realistic, actually could happen, like, you know, you're not going to become somebody who can like teleport, right? Like
dream for those vacations, dream for those, have things that you're planning, that you're looking forward to, that are
becoming,
that are achievable,
but that are actually achievable.
Yeah.
If you want to be a rocket scientist, then you can't study art. You know, you got to study science.
Right.
If you want to be an artist, you got to study art. So be realistic in your actions, and so that these dreams and hopes can be achievable.
Yeah.
But, you know,
and work with your partner to
achieve those.
To achieve them.
And help them achieve them.
That will make all the more enjoyable.
Yeah, and that's a real relationship. Mm-hmm. That support and love and
let's do
effort
this.
Together. Yeah, that's a real relationship.
But it does take work.
Yeah, and the, you know, there's the common saying in our culture where, "Oh, Mom," she says at her wedding, "I'm at the end of all my problems," and the mom says, "Oh yes, dear, but which end?" Right? It's like you're at the beginning of your problems. It's not.
This is not the day one of their marriage is not the happily ever after bit.
No, that's when most stories end, is on the wedding day, and that's the beginning of the next chapter, right?
Yeah.
So be real. Life is not a fantasy. And so this week, if you are harboring any fantasies or using substitutes in your relationships, try to lessen those and be more realistic in your thoughts. And instead of using the substitutes, you actually engage in conversation or activities with real people. Right? Not some AI. Social media, whatever.
Don't waste time with AI. They'll go on forever.
Okay. Well, no, he has he has a tool that they use
at the
school to help the kids learn math through AI, interacting with the AI. But guess what? It's a computer. It's not a real person. It's not somebody actually teaching them. It's a computer, right?
It could, if it was accurate all the time. It's a
program.
But I have to tell the kids it's artificial intelligence. It's not real intelligence.
And it's going to give you the wrong answer sometimes to test your knowledge, right?
Or just because it's still just ones and zeros.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't really. Yeah.
So anyway. the F. Thanks for that. So the emphasis is real relationships with real people, and try not to substitute things that are pretend. And I'm gonna get some hate mail from animal lovers, but if you are loving on your pets more than you were loving on your family, try to, spend less time with your pet and more time with your human family, right?
Yeah.
Not that pets aren't wonderful and they fill an amazing
they can be good
space in your home and in your lives.
Yeah.
But if you are excluding humans in favor of animals, then make an effort to include human interaction more.
Yeah. It's the human relationships that are going to bring you the most satisfaction.
Exactly. As much as you love your pet and your pet loves you,
a
human relationship is more satisfying, right? So we're not saying don't have relationships with animals and get the joy.
Dog.
Yeah, right? I mean, all boys love dogs, right? Anyway, that's an exaggeration and an overstatement. But anyway, what I'm saying is, yeah, don't replace humans and human relationships and real relationships and real people with the ideal of a relationship and the ideal of a person, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
So yeah. So the one of the things in the song before it got really awful and I had to turn it off was, if you want to be in love or find love, if you want to be in love, then find a real man and love him, I think is what the song said. So yeah, find a real person and love them with thoughts, emotions, and deeds. So anyway, have a good week.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.